Alright, so I used the Ethos on both her car. You can see it left nice and shiny. Use it on mine, but I had to leave mine outside. And so in the time that that happened, it's back to looking, actually looks worse than it did when I started. So that's great. But, whatever, it's going to rain tomorrow and we'll test it. Overall impressions, it did a good job cleaning. I'll give it that. Um, I need to test it out neat. I think maybe putting absolute in it was a mistake. There was some action on the surface. I couldn't tell if it was absolute and ethos separating, but parts looked like ethos, parts looked like something else. Parts look like absolute, parts look like something else, and that could have been the ethos. So next time I'm going to do it neat to get better feedback. Next time might be in a couple days. Overall impressions are that it's not as slick. It's absolute. It did a great job cleaning the sponge. I'll give it that. The sponge looked great the whole way through. I would say, okay, that's just today, just now, half an hour. It did a better job than absolute as far as cleaning ability, I think. The car looks good. Right here, without looking at the pollen, it looks great. Then you get closer and you can see all the stuff that kind of landed on it. As far as drying, it dried pretty nicely. It spotted up a lot. I'm not sure. Again, I'm going to do next time neat ethos and then go back to absolute. That didn't happen with this car because it's in the garage. It was cool. The other car, it's 80 degrees outside, and it was, sitting outside of the gym and over here, so it was probably out warmer surface. So it spotted up pretty quickly. I went to go get my towel, came back, and it was already spotted. So that's concerning. I'm going to kind of alternate between, I'm going to do one neat with this, go back to this, and then see if it dries, if that kind of action happens, the spotting, within a minute or so, happens with absolute. I don't remember it doing that. On the plus side, those spots, as soon as they were identified, I was able to wipe them up pretty quickly. I wiped them up. Some areas I just went with the drying towel and it just picked it right up. Towel was slightly damp. In other cases, I used my my final touch blend, which I kind of went through in the other video. My Franken blend of detailer, rinseless, bead maker, and purified water, and I needed that, but I really think it was the warmth of the car that kind of ruined them. That not ruined, but that made those spots happen. That made that user experience worse. I say that because I started using some Seal and Shine, and everything was great here. I came to the hood and it immediately streaked out, clumped up, looked like I was just wiping down my car with lard at one point. So I had to stop everything, stop what I was doing, go back to the rinseless, wipe it down completely again, and then come back and use my final touch, wipe it down, and call it a day. No Seal and Shine for the car. We know that warm black paint and Seal and Shine is no bueno. So at some point when the weather gets better, I'm going to do a whole in-garage session, not be outside. This whole week's going to be pollen hell, so just going to stay on top of it, make sure I don't have any etching. Unfortunately, my wife's car, I did the best I could, but there was a period of time that I didn't get to the roof. She wasn't asking for a wash. I didn't think about doing a wash. She was traveling. The roof didn't get done as well, and you could see you want to take care of pollen and crap as soon as you get to it. There's some crap up there. I couldn't get it off with the rinseless. I used a little bit of acid wash that I have here, which is another PNS product right here, Crystal Wash. Use that, and then went back with the rinseless on a microfiber, wiped it off, and it took off about 80% of what was there. There's still some spots there, and some chunks that I have to kind of work, like that bad boy there. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna see about soaking it directly on a full wash instead of just rinseless washing. But for what it is, good. Checking out her car, because her car is nicely unpollened after the Ethos wash. It feels great. Smooth, man. Smooth. Like, it really does feel good. It's coated, and you can feel it. It feels fantastic. So, not an indictment of Ethos, because I did blend it, and I might have screwed it up with that blend. It was basically half a fluid ounce to 4 fluid ounces of this bad boy. to 4-ish gallons of water. Um, yeah. So, not an indictment. I'm going to do it again, give a final verdict after that. I have a lot to go through regardless. So, each wash, I use about 4 gallons, and I like having more water than less because I have a grit guard in there. And as you know, as I was doing her cards, I mean, it was basically not, for me anyway. I pushed the sponge down to the guard, and maybe there was just enough water over my hand. That's a lot. That's not that much water at that point, and that's a lot of contamination that's kind of just sitting there in the water, emulsified. So I'm not comfortable with that. I'd rather do 4 or 5 gallons. Also, I used that 4 or 5 gallons to fill this up twice. So overall, I think it went well. This will be about, I don't know, just looking at this might be like 20 washes right there. So that's not so bad. That's $1.50 a wash, if you're doing the math. A little bit more than that, maybe $1.75 a wash. That's good value for what it offers. Traditional car wash, this was $20. 64 fluid ounces. It asks for 3 per 5, per 5 gallons of water. That's again, traditional car wash might be more efficient, but then again, it might not be. It might be the same actually. It's just a matter of convenience, busting out the pressure washer and everything else just to take pollen off that comes right back on in 30 seconds. This one here though, 2 ounces. Put 1 or 2 ounces directly onto a wash pad. Wait a minute. Spray, whatever. Interesting. This might be about 3 to 4 ounces per, for 1 ounce per gallon. So it's about the same dilution, about the same. Actually, it's a little bit less. So it's going to be cheaper by the order of a few bucks over a rinseless wash. So that's it. Everything has its place. And right before the summer hits, we are definitely going to be going back to a full wash, reset, wipe down the car, maybe even polish it after this whole pollen season, just to get a feel for how many swirls I induced. I will say, compared to my GTI, where I wasn't using rinseless washing, I was just primarily doing a traditional wash once a week and detailer here and there, which was the mistake. This car has much less swirls and than that. So is it the technique? Is it the rinseless? Is it the protection? Is it the coating? I think it's all of it together, honestly. Because same with her car. Her car had some swirls. And before I did her coating, I polished them all out as much as I could, coated it, and since then, it's been pretty damn good. Like, this feels great. So, for everyone out there who's wondering, can I do this? Can I go? If you don't feel like doing this, this is a kind of a pain in the ass. It's time. A lot of time goes into this. So if you're not into that, hire someone, pay them what they're worth. They're going to charge you a lot, but understand that it's worth it. Find a reputable one in your area. If you're close to any of the ones that are on YouTube, like EC Details or any of that, you're in good hands. But otherwise, just know that if you're willing to put in the work and put in some financial investment, you could do this. You could you could have a nice, clean car that's well maintained, that maintains its value in that regard, maintains its aesthetic with some exceptions. Make sure you get the right tools, make sure you get a good step ladder, make sure you don't ignore certain areas like door jambs and roofs, wheel wells. And that's it. That's my video. Any questions? Again, this is just amateur hour in my garage. I'm thinking about maybe getting a GoPro and a headset and a tripod and doing things a little more officially. But yeah, maybe even show you my face once in a while. But really, I just wanted to just cover the product and let you know. I'm a huge fan of Absolute. I love the way it smells. I love the way it works. I just wanted to try something new. I wanted to try a different one. I was going to go with O&R, but then this came out on spring sale and was coming down about $5 less to Ethos. or $6 less after tax, overall. And so it was a no brainer to jump on Ethos. It is one of the newer ones in the market, and according to Detail Projects on YouTube, who does extensive tests on rinseless and pretty much doesn't like any of them, but extensive tests on rinseless, and I highly recommend you watch some of his videos. I watched them all, some of them several times, the Ethos one several times. It compares very closely to Armor Supply Hero, so as far as even down to the chemical composition. So that's good to know. It's for you to know. Watch the video for more on that. But overall, Absolute gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Might even get it, so far from my experience, limited experience, 9 out of 10, because it might be better. I'm not going to give something a 10 out of 10 unless it completely blows my mind. I might give it a 9.5 because I've used it in all these blends up there and as a detailer and stuff, and it's been great. So it's the lubricity is what really, really, really nails it with Absolute and allows it to be something of a detailer at higher concentrations. Ethos, so far, I got to test it again. I'm going to give it a 7 for today, but then again, I did kind of throw some Absolute in there, and it was a little bit draggy in spots. Like, an example would be if I was wiping this panel, great, what the hell? It kind of like tugged a little bit, like what? And using these two sponges here, the Ultra Safe sponge and the Big Red sponge over here, this one's, not cut deep. This one's has deeper cuts. What I noticed is this would just kind of buckle, and it was kind of like buckle, and I didn't like that. So I would switch between the two, and this would be great for like areas like the hood where I didn't really want it to buckle. Just go straight over it. Overall, I did a great job. I gotta clean these bad boys. Yeah, that said, I highly recommend Ethos, but more to come on that. If you're looking for a great deal in rinseless, now's the time to pick up a gallon of Ethos and try it out for yourself. Otherwise, I would say stick with what you have, stick with what you like. I'm hoping to one day catch, right now, DIY rinseless V2. I wanted to get that, but it seems like the price is way high, and I believe that price increase has nothing to do with DIY, detail, more to do with their reseller, because every video I see says it should be listed at $49, which is competitive, and I'm seeing it for $64. So I'm not going to pick it up just yet. I'm not going to. If somebody wants to send me some like a leftover bottle, and I'll pay you for it or whatever, hit me up. If you want to give it away, that's great. I'll take it, please. But I'm not going to pay that much for rinseless. After these two, I expect to be using this one for quite a while, but I would like to do a side-by-side at some point. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. Maybe I'll add a third one as this one gets to the halfway mark, and I'll have a better idea of how I like it. If I do choose a third one, I don't know. Maybe O&R comes out with a V6. Maybe I get DIY V2. I mean, I would like to try that one. Even EOD, Phoenix, Hydra, I might want to try that just because I've been hearing good things about it. Maybe if I can get a deal on shipping. Actually, Detail Co., I really want to try their products out. I want to give Eddie and JTC, Jamie's products a whirl. But the shipping's what kills me on that one. Amazon's been helpful in, even the fact that I was able to return the O&R and then flip it immediately into a Hydra purchase. That's convenient. So ideas on what I might do later.